Robbie, you mentioned the lack of depth at center ice. Where is that left Ryan O'Reilly and the weight on his shoulders?
I think it's an extreme weight. And, Ryan O'Reilly is probably as hard on himself after a loss in a post-game setting as any player that I've ever heard. He basically just takes everything bad that happened in the game and puts it all on himself. And the goal scoring, came pretty often for him last year. I don't think he went more than like 6 games last year without scoring a goal. And he's had a few droughts so far this year. It's starting to get back in for him a little bit lately, but he's kind of symptomatic of the rest of the team. They just can't really generate anything 5-on-5, and that's probably the most surprising thing in terms of his line with Forsberg and Nyquist. They were so good together last year, and it's just not quite been the same. And maybe you expect it to a certain degree with O'Reilly and Nyquist. I mean, both of those guys are not exactly spring chickens anymore. Nyquist in particular had a career year last year, basically out of nowhere, over 70 points. So you knew he probably wouldn't replicate that again this year, but that line has just not been as dangerous, Philip Forsberg included. And if that line's not going, it feels like they just may not have enough right now with the way other guys are playing in the lineup to overcome that.
UC Saros is a 9-11 save percentage. Everyone feels pretty good about the decision to extend him long-term and trade off Askarov?
They do, given the fact that, in terms of the moves you made this offseason, you're kind of going all in with this group.
Yeah.
There was a huge debate here in the city about what the right path was there. And it was basically, from the fans we interact with, split right down the middle of trade UC Saros, get the assets you can for him, and go with Askarov, or go with the proven commodity in Saros. Obviously, that's what they decided to do. I thought the number, the AAV that he got, coming in at under $8 million was a pretty good value for them. Mm-hmm. He's played great. Like, he's been the least of their problems so far this year. So I think at the moment, Predators fans are feeling pretty good about the way that he's trending and the way that he's playing so far under the new deal, which doesn't even kick in until next season. But 8 years for a goalie that's about to be 30 years old still is a long time on that contract.
We're talking to Robbie Stanley, host of the Robbie and Rex Road show covering the Nashville Predators. Robbie, what was it, about 3 weeks ago, a little over 3 weeks ago, Barry Trotz's threat of blowing the team up, and obviously we kind of felt a little bit of well, that's not really what I meant, but just the pressure on him now to kind of rectify this and make a decision on still hanging on, or, yeah, let's get ready for next season. Like, how long before we see another type of decision or comment about the future of the Nashville Predators?
Well, I don't think we're too far away. And he actually came on our radio station yesterday and said basically he's going to give this group until Christmas to figure it out and turn it around, or you're going to see a lot of the younger guys start to infiltrate the lineup. And they've started that a little bit. Zach LaRue got called up over a month ago. Fedor Svechkov, who was their first-round pick in 2024, got called up a couple of weeks ago, and he scored his first NHL goal the other night. So some of the young guys have started to trickle in, I think probably a little faster than he anticipated. But Trotz did say yesterday that if this team hasn't figured it out by Christmas and they haven't gotten themselves back in the fight, that he's going to react accordingly, and you'll see some moves start to be made there, whether it's via trade or just simply putting some younger guys in the lineup in place of some of these veteran players. So it sounds like time's starting to run out here for the Predators if they're going to turn this thing around this year.
Well, let's see in the next 2 hours if they can turn around the first 5 minutes here. Robbie, great stuff, man. Thanks for the feedback.
Really appreciate you guys having me.
Thanks for your time, man. Have a good one.
Absolutely. You too.
Robbie Stanley covering the Nashville Predators.
I had no idea their offense was that putrid. Dead last.
Yeah. And
dead last.
Andrew Burnett now leads the league in bench minors.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Do
That's
you know
not helping.
If he's taking them with yelling, or are they too many men penalties?
I think they're too many men.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think he's made it abundantly clear that the onus is on the player going on.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. I've had that conversation before, and I still do that. I still subscribe to that belief, but
What else are you watching other than the person that you need
as a player
to replace?
Yeah. No, you're right. It's not that hard. I think it can speak to a lack of communication on the bench where, you and your line, maybe you and the other winger are confused about who's got what guy. But I don't know about you, but from when I was 13 years old on, it was always when your line was called, you said the name of the guy you were taking, just for clarity's sake, right? I got Kipper. Even if I got you 100 times, it's, I don't know, a little bit of talking about.
Couple minutes here, just in terms of Minton, Fraser Minton, and the growth of this player in a short period of time, and how he's raising eyebrows now on a guy that is not making it easy to necessarily want to send down to the minors once healthy bodies come. And of course, he doesn't need to clear waivers, but how do you not pencil him in the lineup if you're Craig Berube?
Yeah, and like to your point, it's not just he looks better than I thought he'd look. It's, do you want him on the ice or Holmberg on the ice here? Do you want him on the ice or you go through the list and it's like, God, he's ahead of a lot of guys. We do have a clip on this.
Yeah.
Dude. Well, let's check out what Craig Berube's latest comment on his IQ.
Clip 6.
I think hockey IQ is probably something you just have for the most part. I think you can get better at it. There's certain guys that see things and learn from it, and for sure, he's probably one of those guys. I think he's a guy that studies people, the game, players. But he just has hockey IQ.
Do you think that is true, that hockey IQ is something you have?
I think you're born with a rhythm for sure of understanding movements, and for goal scorers, it shows.
Let me ask you,
but
were you a drill wrecker?
I never went first.
See, that's fine.
I never went first.
But that to me is someone who's smart enough to play to their strengths, which is probably in your role as a player. You did extremely well. You played to your strengths, right?
Yeah.
It's the guys who are unaware that they don't have high hockey IQ who want to go first in the drills.
There's some guys that think that they have it and they don't have it.
They don't have it.
And then as a coach, you're like, just follow the arrows.
It's not.
That's what.
Yeah.
I had an assistant coach, John Perpich. Kipper, follow the arrows.
But you're like, yes, I will. Yes, I'll absolutely do that.
But I had a lot of success in minor hockey scoring goals and just finding right areas of the ice. Yeah. I had it at an incredible level in junior hockey. Mm-hmm. Slow start to my pro career. Ended up scoring 24 goals the year we won the Calder Cup in Hershey.
Yeah.
So it was kind of there.
Yeah.
Had my best year at 17 goals, which should have been a 20-goal season.
Yeah.
If I didn't have a sports hernia, if that's the proper term.
But
so there was always something there for me.
Whether you could, as the level gets better, it's harder to get there. But you knew.
Yeah. And it wasn't coaching, right? It's not coaching saying stand here or go there. It's, hey, this is an area of the ice where I feel like a puck can come to me. Mm-hmm. And it often does for goal scorers. Yeah.
And I wasn't sure, it was because I grew up with a dad who was in the NHL. I grew up at the rink watching the rhythms of the game and the puck. And, that was my only strength, really.
What was your dad's best year?
Points-wise?
Yeah.
He had 4 30-plus goal seasons. I'd have to look it up. I'm embarrassed.
But he had good numbers, though, right? 70 points seasons?
Yes, absolutely.
Point a game kind of guy?
Yeah, let's find out real quick. I know we're going to break. His best point total was, we got 73, 76, a lot of 60s, 30 goals 4 times. Good year.
All right, we're going to take a quick break. Mark Messier in studio. You're not going to want to miss it. Do not go away. It's going to be a great night here on Sportsnet.
The Toronto Maple Leafs may be taking a new approach to salary management, which could directly impact Mitch Marner's contract negotiations. During Kyle Dubas' tenure as general manager, the team didn't hesitate to spend heavily, and this trend began with a 6-year extension signed by Marner in 2019. At the time, Marner's $10.9 million annual cap hit set the market for superstar wingers, surpassing comparable players like Mikko Rantanen of the Colorado Avalanche, who signed a 6-year deal with a $9.25 million annual cap hit. Now, however, times seem to be changing. TSN's Pierre LeBrun recently reported that the Maple Leafs have implemented an internal salary cap, aiming to ensure no player earns more than captain Austin Matthews, who signed a 4-year extension worth $13.25 million per season in August 2023. The team's primary concern revolves around Marner's agent, Darren Ferris, who, according to LeBrun, might push for a percentage of the total salary cap instead of a fixed dollar amount. This could result in Marner's cap hit exceeding Matthews' $13.25 million, conflicting with the Leafs' new financial strategy. Ferris is known for driving negotiations to the limit, often taking his clients to free agency. This raises fears that discussions between Marner and the Leafs could drag on until July 1st, giving Marner and his camp all the leverage in negotiations. Another complicating factor is the rising market. LeBrun noted that Mikko Rantanen believes he could secure $14 million per season as a free agent. This sparks the question, could Marner demand even more? And would Ferris take that gamble, knowing the Leafs might opt to move on and sign another player? Marner has made it clear on multiple occasions that Toronto is where he wants to be. As a local player with deep ties to the city, he's expressed his desire to spend his entire career wearing the blue and white of the Leafs. However, staying with the team may require him to accept less than market value, especially if the front office remains committed to its new salary structure. Such a sacrifice could be vital for the team's collective success and to avoid financial issues that have plagued the recent past. While negotiations are still in the early stages, it's evident that Marner's future with the Leafs is at stake. Maple Leafs fans may need to prepare for the possibility of significant changes, but they can also trust in the player's commitment to the city and the franchise to find a compromise. The Maple Leafs' decision to implement an internal salary cap reflects a broader shift in their team-building philosophy. After years of prioritizing top-end talent with hefty contracts, the organization appears determined to strike a balance between superstar contracts and depth throughout the roster. This strategy aims to avoid the pitfalls of past seasons, where a lack of financial flexibility often left the team vulnerable in critical playoff moments. For Mitch Marner, this shift creates a unique challenge. On one hand, his value to the Leafs is undeniable. A consistent top scorer and elite playmaker, Marner has been instrumental in driving the team's offense. On the other hand, his ability to command a salary that rivals or exceeds Austin Matthews could put the Leafs in a difficult position, especially with a potential need to strengthen other areas of the roster. As the 2023-24 season progresses, the Leafs must weigh the potential consequences of sticking to their cap philosophy. Losing a homegrown talent like Marner would undoubtedly sting for fans and the organization alike. However, allowing one player to dictate financial terms beyond the team's structure could hinder long-term success and force painful sacrifices elsewhere. Adding to the complexity is the looming free agency of William Nylander. If the Leafs are to stick to their internal salary cap, they may also face challenges in retaining Nylander, who could command a significant raise. Balancing contracts for both Marner and Nylander within the new framework could prove to be the ultimate test for Toronto's management team. Another factor at play is the team's ultimate goal, winning the Stanley Cup. While star players like Marner and Matthews are crucial, history has shown that depth and balanced rosters often prevail in the postseason. If the Leafs fail to manage their finances effectively, they risk falling short of building a championship-caliber team, even with elite talent. For Marner, the decision to stay with the Leafs might come down to more than just dollars. His connection to the city, the fans, and his teammates could be deciding factors. If he prioritizes legacy and loyalty over maximizing earnings, there's a strong possibility that he'll work with the team to find a deal that benefits both parties. Negotiations will also test Darren Ferris, known for his hardline tactics in securing lucrative deals for his clients. While pushing for top dollar is expected, Ferris may need to weigh the risks of alienating the Leafs' management and fanbase. A prolonged stalemate could damage Marner's relationship with the team and its supporters. The Leafs' management, led by general manager Brad Treliving, faces a pivotal moment. Treliving's reputation as a negotiator and team builder will be on full display as he navigates this high-stakes scenario. Striking the right balance could solidify his tenure in Toronto, while a misstep might set the team back for years. For Maple Leafs fans, the coming months will be filled with anticipation and uncertainty. Marner's future, along with the team's ability to stay competitive under financial constraints, will likely dominate conversations as the season unfolds. Supporters can only hope that the team's new approach leads to greater playoff success and, ultimately, the elusive championship. In the end, the outcome of these negotiations could redefine the Maple Leafs' identity for years to come. Whether it results in retaining Marner or reshaping the roster, the team's commitment to an internal salary cap signals a clear focus on long-term sustainability. Fans will be watching closely, hoping for a resolution that keeps the team's core intact and their championship dreams alive. As the negotiations with Mitch Marner